Hey, this is Rick Kaselich, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, I wanted to go through neck pain treatment quick fix. And I'll get Andrew to go through the first one, and then I'll go through things in detail and then also show you the other 3 exercises to do for a neck pain treatment quick fix. So that ends up being the first one, ball into the neck. So what you want is, this ends up being a lacrosse ball. You can end up using like a golf ball, a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball like this, a dog ball. And what you're doing is just pressing the ball into your upper traps or kind of the meaty part of your upper neck. And a lot of times that's the area that ends up getting tight, and that tightness ends up leading to neck pain. So the first thing we'll want to do for a quick fix is to loosen up that upper trap muscle or upper neck muscle in order for it to decrease the pull that's happening on the neck. And so you do it, I'll hand it back to you. So you'll end up, so when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets, 1 set, repetitions, you're looking for like 5 sensitive areas. So you're rolling through, you find a sensitive area, you hold it there for a second or 2 until it subsides, and then you end up looking for another one. When it comes to the time, whatever length of time it takes you to find those 5 sensitive areas, and you're starting at the point like almost down into the shoulder and then up into the neck when it comes to that length of the muscle that you end up targeting. And intensity, it should be uncomfortable. You don't want screaming pain, but you want it to press the ball in so it's a little bit uncomfortable so that the muscle will end up relaxing. So that ends up being the first one, ball into neck. Now the second one ends up being neck rotations with arms fixed. So Andrea's feet flat on the floor, okay, legs about hip width apart, nice and tall, okay, in that tall point of view with the head in great alignment with the shoulders and the hips, that ends up putting the neck in the least amount of stress. The more our shoulders are rounded forward and the more that our head is forward, the more stress that gets put onto the neck. So we want to get a good position with nice alignment, and then we want to add gentle neck rotations. So yeah, Andrea's going to rotate to one side till a point of light resistance, and then rotating to the other side till a point of light resistance, and she's going to end up going back and forth. Now when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, the sets, 1, repetitions, 3 on each side. When it comes to time, smooth controlled movement, and with a stop at the end position, so you're holding that end position for a second or 2. And then the intensity ends up being light. We're looking for a light stretch. You're kind of going into, if you end up having neck pain right now, you're kind of going at the edge of that neck point of view and then coming back out. Or if it ends up being stiff, you're going into that point where you're getting a light stretch and then you're coming out of it again. Now with the third one, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to do chair arches. So you've got your hands in behind the head, you're sitting in a chair, you're going to arch back to a stop and then come back forward. And what we're looking at doing is we're looking at loosening up this mid-back area, because that mid-back area ends up being tight and stiff and ends up having poor mobility. So another area ends up having to pick up that slack, and a lot of times it ends up being the neck or it ends up being the lower back. So we want to loosen it up, improve the mobility or movement in those vertebrae in the spine, because if we can improve that movement, then it'll decrease the stress on the neck or in the lower back. And with these chair arches, when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets, 1, repetitions, you're going to go through 5 repetitions. When it comes to time, smooth controlled movement with a good stop at the end position, 1 to 2 seconds. And the intensity ends up being light. We're looking at working on movement, mobility in that mid-back area. When you arch back and go to the furthest point that you can go back, you'll probably feel stiffness in your mid-back area. And with every repetition, we're trying to go a little bit further back. So that ends up being the third one when it comes to neck pain treatment quick fix. Now the fourth one ends up being chin tucks. So just like all the positions we did for the neck rotations with arms fixed, Feet are flat, legs are about hip width apart. You're nice and tall when it comes to the ear, shoulders, and hips. And now what we're going to do is that chin tuck. So you're dropping the chin and then bringing it back. Good. And then relaxing. Good. Dropping that chin and bringing it back. Good. So it ends up being a really small movement. So it's just dropping the chin and then bringing it back a little bit. And then relaxing, dropping the chin and bringing it back. Now what you should end up feeling, it doesn't feel like very much, but what we're doing is we're putting the head in ideal alignment. If you're really stiff in that mid-back area, you might end up feeling like resistance in that mid-back area, and that's normal. If you really have a lot of tightness in the upper neck, you'll probably feel like a stretch in that upper neck area. And with this one, it's really important to not overdo it, because if you kind of overstretch things, you might end up getting a tension headache throughout the head. So when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, 1 set, 5 repetitions. When it comes to time, smooth controlled movement, as you saw Andrea do, with a hold at the end position, so for a second or two, and the intensity ends up being light. You're not looking for a strong stretch, you're not looking for a strong mobility movement or trying to increase the movement in that mid-back. It ends up being light. So there you go, give those 4 exercises a go for a neck pain treatment quick fix. Now, if you want some of my other tips and tricks when it relates to neck pain, then what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks to Fight Neck Pain and Tightness. Just click right here. Let me know where to send that brand new free report, and I'll send you that brand new free report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a smartphone, tablet, head down below in the description and click the first link, which ends up being exercisesforinjuries.com/necks. Let me know where to send that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, before you go, if you got benefit from this video, make sure you like the video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And lastly, hit subscribe so you end up getting future pain relieving videos.